Am I the a-hole for walking out of my own birthday dinner because my girlfriend turned it into her celebration? So my 25 male birthday was last weekend. I don't usually do anything big, but this year a bunch of my friends were in town, and my girlfriend, 23 female, offered to plan something. I was genuinely excited. She made a dinner reservation at a nice place I've been wanting to try and said she had a little surprise planned. The surprise was that she invited a bunch of her friends, like 6 of them. People I barely know. One of them I actively dislike because she used to hit on me when my girlfriend and I first started dating. My girlfriend brushed it off, saying it would make things more fun and lively. Whatever, I tried to roll with it. But then at dinner, it just got worse. She spent the entire time talking to her friends. I was seated at the far end of the table next to 2 people I'd never met. She didn't even sit next to me. When the food came, they all toasted her for organizing everything and started talking about her upcoming promotion. Her best friend gave a speech about how she deserves all the happiness in the world. Not one mention of me or my birthday. No cake, no toast, no happy birthday. Nothing. I literally just sat there while everyone gushed over her for 2 hours. Eventually, I got up, paid for my portion of the meal, said I wasn't feeling well, and left. I didn't make a scene or yell. I just quietly left. Later, she texted me saying I embarrassed her in front of her friends and ruined the night. She said she tried really hard to make it special and that I was being ungrateful. A few of her friends have messaged me saying I was being immature and that it wasn't that deep. But I don't know, man. Is it crazy to think my birthday should have been at least a little about me? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before the mini update. Not the a-hole. She didn't throw you a birthday dinner. She threw herself a dinner, but decided she could kill 2 birds with 1 stone if she lied, and said it was for you. You've done nothing wrong. She didn't throw you a birthday dinner. She organized a meetup with her friends whilst you were there. Did she even invite any of your friends? She sounds horrible and only cares about herself to say she made an effort, when no one even said anything to you is crazy. You handled it well and should leave her. This was not a red flag, but a red alert. Not the a-hole. Next time she brings up how you embarrassed her, why don't you tell her how much she embarrassed you? By inviting people you hardly knew or didn't even like, ignoring you and making the evening about herself. Speak up for yourself. You did nothing wrong. She's the one in the wrong. He needs to dump her ASAP. You're the a-hole if you don't dump her. She's immature and selfish. Don't forget narcissistic. Now for the mini update. We talked. She doubled down and said the dinner wasn't just about me. It was a chance to celebrate us and her hard work planning it. She admitted she didn't invite my friends because they wouldn't vibe with her circle. Still no happy birthday, no apology, just told me I was being dramatic and should be thankful she even organized something. I guess the dinner really was all about her. So yeah, I ended things. It hurts, but I know how I feel. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my girlfriend out for diagnosing me? I, male 36, have been dating Mandy, female 34, for 6 months. My place is closer to her work, so she sleeps over a few nights a week and has a key. She also finishes work earlier than I do, so she usually gets to my place before me. I have anxiety and see a therapist once a month. I manage it by maintaining routines and schedules. For example, when I get home, I feed my cat first, then wash my hands, start cooking, and then clean up. I don't expect her to do anything around my house, but I do expect her to at least put her dirty dishes in the dishwasher. When I explained this to her, she asked, "Are you autistic?" I said I didn't think so, and added that this is just basic courtesy. Even if I were autistic, I'd still expect the same. But she kept doing it. I came home again to dirty dishes all over. She uses bowls for snacks and cups for drinks. When I asked her why she didn't put them in the dishwasher, she replied, "There's that tism again. You really need to get tested." Last night, when I got home, she asked me to grab her a can of Coke. I said I'd do it after I fed my cat. She yelled, "You autistic fool. You can't even break your routine for a can of Coke. How long are you going to be in denial? Just get tested." I told her to leave. Whether I'm autistic or not is none of her business. She got mad and left. Later, she sent me a bunch of TikToks about autism, saying she was just trying to help. Was I the a-hole? I don't like my house being dirty. Not the a-hole. She wasn't trying to help you. She was gaslighting you into thinking that your reasonable requests are the result of undiagnosed autism. Asking someone to put dirty dishes in the dishwasher is an incredibly small ask. She can also grab her own can of Coke. Also, even if you are autistic, the way to deal with that isn't to call you an autistic fool. She's awful. Dump her. This woman is disgusting. What was she expecting by calling OP these names? Trying to bully him into getting tested? I don't understand the prerogative, but regardless, OP needs to dump her ASAP. Never stay with someone who calls you names. Like that's where the bar is at for this sub at this point. Also, I really am getting the ick for the girlfriend wanting to take priority over the cat. If OP is big on routines, that means the cat is also big on routines. Why is she trying to interrupt that for herself? Is she jealous of the cat? Absolutely unhinged woman, not the a-hole. Dump her. And if he does get tested, what then? Is she under some impression that there's a magic pill that makes him happy to be in a relationship with a gigantic, unempathetic, boundary-pushing a-hole? Not the a-hole. She sounds toxic AF though. Yeah, for real. Even in her imaginary world where he did have autism, why would she yell at him and call him an autistic fool for sticking to his routine? Autistic people need accommodations, not abuse. She sounds awful. Here's the deal. My partner is on the spectrum, and there are a lot of tics and quirks that come along with that. But you adapt and learn them and move on. Her attitude is more like she wanted something to be a big deal, so it justified her being right, likely because she wouldn't meet him where he asked her to, not being a slob. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife my cousin is insanely wealthy? I am 31 male, my wife is 34, my cousin is 33 female, and her husband is 35. My cousin and her husband own a fairly large farm, and that is my cousin's pride and joy. Not one single person was surprised when she bought it. Her husband is a pipe welder and makes good money as well. My cousin and her husband are well known in the community and very well respected. They do a lot for the community. With all that said, when she was in her early 20s, she won a ton of money. I'm talking FU kind of money. At the moment, she has made it so all of the kids in the family, including any children I may have, will be able to go to college, and she paid for her siblings' educations. She has used it for the community, but what she's done with it hasn't even made a dent. My cousin is insanely wealthy. Her place is paid off, and her husband's income, along with the farm income, pays for pretty much everything. So the money she won isn't really touched much, other than for her charity work or if they need some sort of specialized equipment. They do have a very nice home, but if you saw them out and about, you wouldn't know it at all. They look very normal. She drives a Bronco her husband gifted her when she had her most recent baby, or the farm truck that looks like it's been to hell a few times. My wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for a year and a half. My wife is a nurse practitioner in a specialty field, so she makes very good money, and I work in aviation. I make about the same as she does. We are well off compared to most people in our area, but we aren't even close to what my cousin has. She would have been making well over what we make just from her farm and her husband's job, and the other money just makes it insane. My wife is very prideful. She likes to make sure everyone knows she made it. She has a very nice car and likes to bring up how much she makes in nearly every conversation. She always wants the best of the best, and I try to give her that. 99% of my family cannot stand my wife, but they are too nice to say anything, and I love her, so they just deal with it. Recently, another one of my cousins got married, and she got married at my rich cousin's house. They have a huge barn and a nice pond, so they basically cleaned out the barn for the wedding. It was beautiful. That was the first and only time my wife had been to my cousin's house. She always thought my cousin just had a little hobby farm, and for some reason, she thought they were poor. I didn't know she thought they were poor. Most of our vegetables, meat, and eggs come from my cousin, but I normally get it from her myself. Anyway, now my wife is pissed that I embarrassed her and says I should have told her my cousin was rich. I didn't really think about something like that. I just assumed she knew because she's from here. It's not like it was a secret. My cousin paid for all of the upgrades to the school and matched the donations for the community to build a park. There's a huge banner on the park fence for her husband's business and her farm, along with all of the other businesses that donated to it. We pass by that park all the time. It has become an argument because I pretty much told my wife she embarrassed herself and should stop treating everyone like they are poor. There are several people in our community who make as much or more than we do. She just doesn't see that, and they don't flaunt it like she does. So, am I the a-hole for not telling her? Am I the a-hole for telling her she embarrassed herself? Now for the top comments. Your cousin's financial situation is not your or your wife's business. If your wife needs to know how much money someone has before she treats them decently, you are married to an a-hole. That's the reason the rest of his family don't like her. Not the a-hole. You didn't hide your cousin's wealth. It's public knowledge. Your wife's pride and insecurity are the real issue here. You weren't wrong for not telling her, and her reaction seems more about her own issues with flaunting wealth. The wife is every bit the problem. One of my parents' friends is a professional horse girl who was able to buy and afford upkeep on $1 million ranch. It helped she had some inheritance, and a developer bought her old property off her for a nice sum, but she makes real bank on the care and keeping of horses for people. They're expensive animals. We all know it, and everyone's been out to her place. Does it really matter? No. She gets drunk on the same Mich Ultra as everyone else. On the flip side, I'm super proud of my job as a legal assistant at a big firm and love talking about it. The money I make is not what I brag about because the pay is little. Last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting to divorce my husband after he left our newborn and toddler with our teenage daughter while he went out with another woman? I feel like I need some outside perspective on a really tough situation. My husband and I have been married for 19 years, and we have 3 kids together, a 13-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Our journey to parenthood wasn't easy. We faced a lot of fertility struggles, and my husband has been my rock through it all. That's why the situation has hit me so hard. Recently, I started thinking about divorce after I realized my husband had left our young children alone at home while he went out on what appears to be a date with another woman. It's been difficult for me to process everything, and I'm still unsure if I'm overreacting. His parents seem to think it was just a mild mistake, but I honestly find that hard to swallow. A couple of days ago, I decided to take a much-needed me day. I told my husband how I felt, and he agreed I could go out for a bit. I went out with my mom and sister for lunch, a mini shopping spree, and we even got our nails done. It was lovely to have some time to unwind. I left the house around 1 p.m., planning to be back around 6 p.m. My husband was supposed to be at home with the kids, since we didn't have anyone to babysit on short notice. While I was out, I received notifications from our Ring camera. Around 5:50 p.m., I saw something was happening at the front door. I called my husband, who assured me everything was fine and that he was just picking up pizza. I thought nothing of it, knowing he was with the kids. Fast forward to around 6 p.m. when I got another notification that he was back home. Due to the long wait at the nail salon and bad traffic, I didn't arrive home until about 8 p.m. When I got inside, I immediately noticed something was off. My husband's car was gone. I walked into the house to find my toddler playing with spit, and my newborn was crying uncontrollably. My teenage daughter was in tears because she couldn't calm the baby down. I quickly took the baby, changed her, fed her, and got her to bed, checking in with my daughter to see what happened. She told me she didn't know where her dad was, but that he had told her to watch the kids because he had something important to do. I comforted her and reassured her that it was a big task for her to handle alone. I felt awful she had been put in that situation. My husband finally came home around 10 p.m., looking somewhat drunk. When I asked where he had been, he casually claimed he was with his wife and having a good time. It felt like a slap in the face. He took off his pants and acted as if everything was normal, completely dismissing what had just happened. The next day, when I confronted him about his absence, he lied and said he fell asleep at 7:35 p.m. I was furious and called him out for being dishonest, insisting I knew he had been out with another woman. I reached out to my mother-in-law and my own mom for advice, trying to gain some perspective. My mother-in-law minimized it, saying it was a common mistake for men and that I needed to move on for the kids' sake. You know, they need their father at home. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching since that day. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to believe we can work through this rough patch. However, another part of me is devastated and feels that I deserve better. I think about filing for divorce, seeking child support, and pursuing full custody of the kids so I can provide them with a stable environment. So here I am, wondering if I'm being the a-hole for even considering divorce. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving because of our history? Or am I justified in wanting to leave this relationship for the happiness and safety of myself and my children? Am I the a-hole? He's cheating on you. Left the kids and came home drunk, lied about screwing around, and you wonder if you should leave him? Yes, also please get tested for STDs. Drunk dudes aren't careful about wearing protection. Not the a-hole. I always wonder how, should I leave my cheating spouse, is even a question. I get there can be extenuating circumstances which may lead people to question, but damn, they cheat and lie. What is there to save? He can't even be honest with OP. Cheating isn't a mistake, it is a choice. OP, your kids can still have their dad in their lives. It's called co-parenting. He doesn't have to live with them 24/7 to be a present parent. It's BS that you are told to suck it up and allow him to disrespect you. You allow it now? He learns it's okay. Also, staying together isn't necessarily what's best for the kids, as your marriage is the example they will have for their future relationships. They will learn it's either okay to cheat or to allow someone to cheat on them and betray trust. Not to mention, 2 happy separate parents are better than 2 miserable married ones. Also, your husband is the a-hole. He seriously went out, left his children unattended, cheated, and got so drunk he actually thought you would believe his, "I fell asleep at 7:35. Like you wouldn't know he wasn't there? Either he thinks you are about as smart as a box of rocks, or he actually is. Just shows another way he doesn't respect you or your intelligence. Not the a-hole. I would be seeing a lawyer. He was responsible for the kids and basically abandoned them to get drunk and be with another woman. He's cheating on you. Nothing about this is mild or a mistake. He made a choice to do this. Gain some self-respect and kick him to the curb. He's not a good guy.